All right, hello. My name is Nick, and I am very into running, barefoot running, minimal running. And recently, I've been running a lot with a stroller and my baby, and it has been a lot of fun. However, I also know that it's not the easiest thing in the world, and there's probably a lot of parents out there that are thinking of themselves, now that I have a baby, time to get fit and get into it. And I would love for more people to do that and get involved in running. So in the middle of this run, I thought I would take some time to talk about 5 tips that I've found since running with a baby, and hopefully some things to keep you on the right track while running and make it a little bit easier. Running can be difficult enough, having a baby can be difficult, and when you combine them, it's double the difficulty, but it doesn't have to be. And you will learn to love it the more you get into it, I guarantee it. So with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, as we go through this tight trail here, number 1 on the list is try and prepare as much stuff as you can before this run. So for me, I always have a couple toys. So right now a Poppet, a little stuffed animal, and they just live in the stroller full time. They don't go anywhere. I'm not worried about them getting taken. They're not the favorite toy. They clean off really easy, and that's really helpful for some entertainment. Now normally when I'm out with my baby, he just stares off into the distance, watches the walkers and runners and bikers going around, and that's good, but it's nice to have an extra toy just in case. I also always carry a diaper bag, which is definitely a must. And I don't have our normal diaper bag. I literally just keep a gallon Ziploc bag in the stroller full time. That's got some diapers, dog poop bags, rubber gloves, disposable ones, an extra baggie of wipes, and it's perfect. It just sits in the stroller. Everything stays nice and dry while it's in the Ziploc baggie, and yeah, it's good. So I'm not worried about it getting wet or dusty or anything. I'm not worried about anyone taking it because it's just a gallon Ziploc bag with a couple diapers in it. It doesn't look fancy like there'd be anything valuable in there. So that just sits in there full time too. Right now, it's pretty cold out here in Michigan, so I also keep a bunting bag in there, and that is basically just like a sleeping bag that the harness, the straps for your baby, they can pull through, and that just sits in there full time as well. And then I also have a weather shield, and that sits on top of the whole stroller and keeps the wind, rain, snow off of my baby, and that just sits on there full time right now because it's so cold, and it just makes life a lot easier. Now all that stuff just sits in the stroller full time, and what that does is it makes it easier for me to get out on the run. I'm not preparing things, I'm not throwing things in the stroller last minute. Everything is there that I need, so there's no excuses not to get out. All right, real quick, while we go up this little hill here and power hike up, nice and muddy today, just want to say, if you're interested in running, or maybe tips for exercising with babies, or right now it's really just running with the baby, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, or if there's things you want tested out, go ahead and throw them down there in the comments. I've got one of the Bob strollers, so I thought I'd do a review of that, as well as some other barefoot minimal style sandals. So if you're interested, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe down below, and let's get on with the video. Thank you. All right, so number 2, as I power hike up this big hill, you can see, probably doesn't show up on camera super great. Number 2 is going to be change your mindset for why you're going for this run. when I started running with my son, it was all about, I'm gonna be a fit dad and I'm gonna get out, and that's great. However, to me, it was really easy to slack off and say, oh, I don't want to run. I don't want to do that today. It'll be fine. We'll do something else. And so I switched my mindset on it. And now I say, oh, I have to go on this run for my son. And what are we doing? We're going out. We're going to the park. We're going to the library. We're going to the shops in town. And it is way harder to skip a run or be lazy if you're telling yourself, I need to take my child to the park. I need to take my child to the library. It's not about me getting exercise. It's about him being out and about for the day, not being too cooped up inside, and having some fun. And you'll find it's a lot easier to get out when you get to, with your kids, once they figure out, oh, every time I get in the stroller, something cool's gonna happen. We're gonna go to a cool store, or a coffee shop, or whatever, or maybe we're gonna go to the park today, which is great. Maybe we're gonna go to the library and I'm gonna get a new book. All good things. And for me, telling myself I'm not going for a run for me, I'm going on this run with the goal, well, I guess I tell myself that the goal is to take my son to the park, and I just happen to be running to get there. That's the only way we can go. That's been very helpful, just that little switch. And if you can start saying that out loud or telling yourself that, I think it does go a long way. All right, we're almost there through everything. Number 3 is going to be take breaks. So this advice will vary depending on your climate and depending on your current fitness level. But I know for me, I can go with my son, who's about 19 months. We can get a good about 2 miles in before I feel like he starts getting bored and a little bit restless. So take breaks. For us, kind of like I mentioned in the tip before this, go to a park, get your child out. If you're doing all the exercise, just imagine how your child probably feels being cooped up, while you're running, just sitting there. While it is cool, and I'm sure it's a little bit entertaining, it's not the same as being the one doing the activity, right? So go ahead and get them out. Pick a spot on your route when you're running, biking, whatever, to get out. Go to a park. Go out to the water of a lake or a river or a boardwalk. Go to a library or a coffee shop or something like that. The other week, my son and I stopped at a cheese shop. We went inside, hung out, saw all the cool stuff, and that was a good break. It was something different, new. We got to try some cheeses, and it was awesome. So, taking breaks, definitely would recommend. All right, number 4. So we're walking around this loop. I'm gonna have to actually start running at some point here today. But number 4 is going to be start slow. You do not need to go out for a run right out of the gate. If you are someone that has not been running, if maybe you've been sitting around inside a lot because you have a brand new baby, you probably shouldn't be running right off the gate anyway. But if you've been hanging out, you don't need to rush into it, get hurt, get injured, become really sore, and then discouraged. The goal is for longevity here. I did not have a running stroller to start, and we had another stroller, but I made the goal to just carry my baby everywhere. I would carry him for miles and miles and miles as we'd walk around a loop inside the neighborhood, inside the house or apartment at the time. And that was a great way to start and build up that, from carrying him and getting that workout in. It's kind of like rucking in a way. And then switching to pushing him in a regular stroller. I did try and run with a regular stroller. I would not recommend that. That was awful. You can't really go that fast before you start getting the death wobble and it starts shaking all crazy. So don't do that. But from there, I was able to go out and we got a used running stroller, nothing fancy. Like the one that I have now, the Bob one, is definitely more heavy duty. But that worked out really well. I was able to build up to a lot to now You know, my son and I will go out and we do anywhere from 1 to 4 miles a day, and that's been great, and we built up to it and it's worked out well. So definitely take your time. If you don't have a stroller, you're waiting, maybe you're trying to figure out if you want to get into this, maybe you say you want to run, you don't need to invest in all kinds of fancy stuff first. Just start with a walk. Start with carrying, and then go from there. If you have a regular stroller, just start with a regular stroller. There's no issues with that. Get in the routine, and then once you're in a good routine, switch over to running. All right, almost done here. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I just fell down a very icy part of the trail, so we're gonna leave that one out. But number 5, and this is probably the most important tip in my opinion for trying to make running with the baby easier, is run even when your baby can't. Things happen in life, and things will come up, whether it be work, or maybe there's an emergency, maybe it's too hot out, maybe it's too dusty out, too windy, too cold, too snowy, too rainy, whatever it may be. However, just because you don't take your baby out doesn't mean that you also can't go out for a run. So even when I'm not able to take my son out for a run, I still go out for a run on my own just to keep the consistency going. You know, it's too easy to miss one day, it's no big deal, and then you go to the next day, I'll miss another day, we'll get back to it, we'll catch up, and sooner or later you're out of your routine and now you're not exercising at all. So my advice is run even when your baby can't. Get out there, keep on a good schedule, keep consistent, and your baby and yourself, you know, you'll thank yourself in the future too for staying on a consistent schedule and having that discipline. I know for me in running, well, it's nice to be fit and all that. I'm trying to help teach my son too. It's important to stick on a routine, and fitness is just another thing you do. It's nothing special to work out. To me, it should be something as natural as brushing your teeth, you know, eating food. It's just what you do. You go out for a run, you go out for a walk, you lift weights, and trying to instill that early. Not a big deal. It's just something you do on a regular day. All right, we are finishing up here, and I am actually gonna start going for a run. But those are my 5 tips. I hope you found them helpful for running with a baby. Hopefully there's something on here that you hadn't thought about before, or something that you could add on to your own routine. If you're new to running, congratulations. If you're new to running with a baby, double congratulations. I look forward to seeing you out on the trails someday, sometime. If you're interested in more content on running with the baby, or advice, or I don't know, anything pertaining to that, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, post something down in the comments, let me know. I would be happy to talk about it. It can be difficult, I think, finding people to run with babies. That is not an easy thing to do. Right now on the trail that I go on, I think I'm the only one. So if we can find other people out there to connect with, I think that would be fantastic. So with that, thank you for watching, and happy trails.